Hello everyone. So this video is obviously a little bit different from what you guys have gotten used to. I'm kind of branching out into digital art too, because that's what I do the majority of the time that I'm drawing. And so I hope you guys can enjoy my digital content just as much as my traditional content if possible. Because traditional art is kind of harder to film when it's dark outside. And so digital art is easier to film over a period of time and also when it's dark outside, which is a lot of the time. And so I hope that you guys can enjoy this video because I'm also very excited about it. Hence, I made some cute little icons for myself so I can have a little bit of an avatar. I don't know how long I'll put that in my video. It'll depend on how much effort it takes to edit it, how much time it takes. But I hope that you guys can enjoy it. And I got a few questions my last video asking whether or not I plan to just stick with traditional or digital, or like a couple of questions like that. And I plan to go back and forth just because of what I said earlier. It's easier to film digitally. And so I hope that I can pull this off. And this is kind of the first time that I'm using Audacity and OBS and all of this stuff. And I borrowed a nice mic from my sister too, and so I might not be able to do this exact kind of video once I go to college because I don't know what my setup will be like, but I hope that you can enjoy this one. I'll see you in a second. So, I've got my chai tea, I've got my hoodie, and I'm ready to talk about some art. So I kind of recorded this voiceover a lot, and the first time I recorded this voiceover, I said way too many times, and so I'm gonna try to catch myself this time because I tried to edit all of my ums out, but then Audacity thought that it was okay to delete all of my progress, and so I just got really frustrated and decided, you know what, I'm just gonna re-say everything that I said and try not to say as much. So we're gonna do our best. But anyways, I wanted to start with talking about the art that I'm making, and I really wanted to make something that was very like cinematic, sort of like a webtoon or something, like you've just jumped into the middle of a story. And so to do that, I kind of had to fabricate a situation. And so I put Valerie and Evelyn in one picture because I didn't know what else to do, and I wanted to draw them. It's been a long time since I've drawn them, but there I go again. I'm trying, okay? But this concept right here is the fact that Evelyn is a vampire, and she lives in the forest with her vampire clan, and they kind of like own the forest. And so anytime that somebody trespasses, it's like a huge deal because nobody ever kind of crosses the lines of the vampire clan. And so she finds Valerie in the forest, and because Valerie is half demon, she gets like super worried and scared because the demons are involved in a giant world war right now between them and practically like everybody because they want to overthrow everything and become like top dog, I guess. And I haven't really thought about why. I want it to be more than just like a power struggle. It needs to be more like interesting, I guess, but I haven't thought very hard about it yet. But Valerie was born half demon, but she was also born to the human military. And somehow she finds herself in this forest not having any idea that it is owned by the vampires, because the vampires are sort of like a gray area right now. And I actually didn't intend to put them in the same world together, but all of this kind of makes sense now, and it kind of increases the like vastness of the world, I guess, that they're in. And so I kind of like it. And Valerie is just kind of there, and Evelyn is really scared because she doesn't know why a half demon is in the forest other than to try to like commit crime or like start issues with the vampires. And so that's kind of the situation here. Evelyn doesn't know that Valerie's actually not part of the like demon system or whatever. I don't really know how to write it yet, but I'll think about it. It'll become more of a thing. I like barely even thought about it, but yes. So basically, I wanted this artwork to be practice, to be able to draw these kinds of things better and faster, so that in the future, when I might want to draw a webtoon at some point in time, I can be faster, so I'm not spending 2 to like 3 hours on every single panel, because I do want to make it look like it's fleshed out, but not like a full-on painting, because I don't have the time for that or the patience for that. But this still took a long time, like way longer than it should have. I kind of had fun with it, and there came a point to where I just wanted to get it done, and so I enjoyed it a little bit more than I should have and painted it more, and kind of forgot my whole point of drawing it to begin with, which was to find a faster process. But anyways, I'm still really happy with how it came out, and I want to make a lot more artwork that has more of like a story context to it. But anyways, getting into the actual beef of the video, talking about what inspires me and what inspires my art, I have a list of all kinds of different things that are currently inspiring me, because over the years it has changed a lot, and there have been a lot of things that used to inspire me that don't really anymore, but all of it is still really prevalent, I think, in my art style. And so not all of this may be completely accurate to exactly how I've gotten from point A to point B, because I've been drawing for, I don't know, like 6 years at this point, and so I couldn't really think to put all of the inspirations that I've had in my life in this video, because that would be a lot, and I probably don't remember most of it. So I'm going to start with entertainment, because a lot of my inspiration comes from entertainment and the shows and movies I watch. And so one of my biggest inspirations that I have like ever seen, I don't know, this show came out, I think it was last year, but in entertainment, Arcane came out. And I think that Arcane has kind of inspired almost everybody that has watched it in some way or another, because it is an absolutely incredible show. Now, if you haven't heard of Arcane, it came out on Netflix, and it is like a League of Legends show, but you don't actually have to have played League of Legends before to understand it. It's not like one of those things that is like, oh, this is an adaptation just for fans of League of Legends. And I'm not saying that I'm like not a fan of League of Legends, I've just never played it, and I've never really been interested in it. But Arcane came out, and the story was amazing, but not only that, the animation was absolutely jaw-dropping, and so I am very inspired by that. And then it's kind of really cool because usually I feel like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the super gorgeous entertainment that I've seen, it's gorgeous because the story doesn't quite live up to the special effects or the animation or something. And I'm mainly just talking about some certain movies and stuff that have been that way. And so anytime that I see ads for like a super beautiful show, I'm just like, oh well, I'll watch it, but I don't have very high hopes for the story plot or like anything else that has to do with it. I was completely wrong in that sense about Your Name, because Your Name ended up being absolutely beautiful, which is on this list. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's an anime movie that came out a long time ago, but it was super ahead of its time in the animation. It was amazing. But Arcane definitely didn't do that either. And so I'm kind of changing my opinions about really beautiful TV and entertainment, because obviously it's not completely relative. Then Another one of my biggest inspirations is called Spider-Verse, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know about Spider-Verse 2, and that came out not too long ago, and it has very similar animation to Arcane. This is like this new sort of 3D, 2D mashup animation, and what I really loved about Spider-Verse was that it had super dynamic poses and like super interesting, I guess, filming in the animation. I don't know. But the colors were very bright and it all kind of popped off of the screen. And they made a lot of statements with that. It was like very bright, neon, comic-y, and I kind of wanted to introduce a lot of that in my art. And so I know, like, obviously right now I'm not doing that. And a lot of these things that I will say that I want to do, I haven't done yet, but all of it is currently inspiring me, and so that's why they're on this list. So there's that, and then another piece of entertainment that has really inspired me has been My Hero Academia. And that show, although its writing is really amazing, and I just love it for entertainment reasons, I really love the character designs and how many there are, but also how different they all are and how imaginative they are as well. And I really want to find some way to make my characters pop a little bit more and be more their own thing, like their own character, I guess, so that they can kind of replicate that imaginative, creative vibe that I get from My Hero Academia. So that really inspires me. And then another show that I've watched and recently finished the second season of is Demon Slayer. And I'm a huge fan of this show. Ever since it came out, I was just like, my jaw just dropped when I watched the first episode. And I was just thinking, this animation is top tier and beautiful, and the story is emotional, and I feel like crying, but it's amazing. And so that really inspired me, and how serious it is, but also how like hopeful it is at the same time. And a lot of these are not just art inspirations, they're also story inspirations as well. And so those things, like anything that squeezes my heart really inspires me. And so I love to feel emotions, and I love to cry in TV, yeah. Then there's Unholy Blood, which we're getting into webcomics now. And so if any of you guys don't know, I am a huge webcomic fan, and I am honestly kind of, I'm kind of obsessed with webcomics because I have a lot that I've subscribed to and I constantly read them. But Unholy Blood was one that has since finished, and it was absolutely amazing and still is. I highly recommend it. You can read it on webtoon.com. And it was, my goodness, it's just like every panel, the artwork blew me away. I felt like every single panel was an entire illustration in and of itself. And it just made me think, like, how does the artist have this much patience to make everything look like god tier artwork in this webcomic, as well as the story, because the story is also amazing, and I'm just in love. And so if any of you guys like vampire, but like action and romance all in like one little package of amazingness, then I highly recommend Unholy Blood. And then there's Hooky, which is another webcomic that I'm a huge fan of. I actually own 2 copies of the physical version. Not because I need it, but because I accidentally ordered 2 copies and then just didn't send one back because I love it so much and I can't bear to part with it. And so I have a signed version and then one to lend out to friends if they want to read it. So I'm honestly happy. I know I shouldn't have bought 2, but I'm still very happy because I have how much I love this story. And so the story is not just amazing, but then the character design and how she draws her characters, it's very like simple but fun and expressive at the same time. And it's strange because I keep saying that I say that it's simple, but it's not. It's, I don't know. She like somehow incorporates a lot of detail while also not making it too detailed. I don't know. There's something about it. It's a very nice balance, and so I really want to incorporate some of that into my artwork as well as the fact that her backgrounds are absolutely god tier. They look like they were so fun to draw, but at the same time, they're so expressive and so detailed. They feel like character designs on their own. And so I really want to draw backgrounds like her one day. Yeah, and then there's Your Name, obviously, which is also a heart-wrencher anime movie, and it was beautiful and amazing, and I love it. But then the artist that I'm getting into now, I'm reading off of a screen, is Miriam Bannister, which is the one who created Hooky, and I follow her on Instagram, and she constantly posts new art and news about more serializations of Hooky, I guess. Wait, am I fabricating that in my mind? I need to go check if she said that there was going to be another serialization of Hooky, so I need to go check it again. But anyway, sorry about that. Moving on. Is another artist that I'm sure all of you have heard of, and her name's Loish, and she is really well known for her stylization of things, and I really, really love the way that all of her art flows super easily, and it all looks really, really pleasing to the eye, and the way that she paints and how she stylizes things, it just looks really nice, and I really want to learn how to make my characters look a little bit similar to that in some cases, because I know a lot of my inspirations have very different art styles, but I kind of hop between art styles a lot, because sometimes I would rather draw something more cartoony, and then sometimes I would rather draw like a full-on illustrated, rendered illustration of my characters that have all the features and all the bits and bobs, and I just like feel different ways sometimes. So I would say that I probably have maybe 3 separate art styles right now, but I don't know for sure. I'd have to like decide, but yeah. But then moving on is another artist called Etc. Art, and their art is on Instagram, and I think they might be somewhere else too. I just follow them on Instagram though, and their art is absolutely like chef's kiss amazing. And what I really love about it though, they usually draw like really cute guys, I guess. I shouldn't have said it like that. I meant like they draw guys in a way that's really visually appealing. And I really want to learn how to draw guys like that, because I have a little bit of an issue of either drawing guys like way more buff than I intend to draw them, or they're way skinnier than I want them to be. And so I have, for example, I have a character that I named Mason. I'm sure a lot of you probably, if you watched my sketchbook tuber, probably know about Mason. He has changed a lot, and mainly because I've been getting better and better at drawing guys, because in my brain, he's like this 20, like, I don't know, is he, how old is he? I'm guessing he's like around 23 maybe. He like body builds, and he's buff and all this kind of stuff, kind of tall. And so that's what I thought in my mind, because he grew up needing to fight a lot, and so he needed to work out a lot. Then when I drew him, he would look like he's probably around 15 and has never picked up a dumbbell in his life. And I just didn't know how to draw guys in my art style, because I thought that if I were to draw a guy the way that I wanted to draw Mason, he'd have to be like realistic instead of being stylized, and I didn't know how to stylize that. And so when I found Etc. Art's Instagram account, I'm like, wow, this is what I want to draw. This is how he looks. And so I need to learn how to do this. And that really, really inspired me. I need to find some other inspirations too, which I do have, but most of them are for female characters, and so I don't get much inspiration for guy characters very in like different areas, except for the fact that Valinxi on Instagram, I did not prepare for this, but Valinxi, they draw guys really well too, in a way that I really want to draw guys. And so because they draw people in very different body types, and so I don't want to just like stick myself to one body type. And so Valinxi's art is really dynamic and very different in a lot of things that they draw. But not only that, in the fact that their art is I don't know how to explain it. They do really dynamic backgrounds, and their whole pieces always look like you could like step through the screen and be in their world, which is really cool. And it's always really visually appealing to me, and so I really enjoy their art. But then another artist that I really like is Cosmic Spectrum Art, and I mentioned them in my last video because I love the way that she draws noses. Something about her noses just like makes me happy. I don't know what it is, but I really like her art in the fact that her characters are just amazing. I feel like I'm just gonna say that about everyone's art, but I guess that's just how I feel about all of these people and how they inspire me. But I really like the way that she draws her characters and her ink illustrations as well, and how pretty those are. And it makes me really want to pull out my watercolors again. I really should. I haven't used watercolors in a long time, and I have like 5 palettes that I bought because I went through a phase, and now I really want to do it again. But then another artist that I really love, her name is Emily Amiel, I think is how you pronounce it. And the way that they do animation and storyboarding, but also illustration on Instagram, it's jaw-dropping. I just can't not look at it, and it makes me very happy. And the way that their art style is that they can draw full-on illustrations, and then they can simplify their art style in a way where they can do really simple animations, and it still looks like the same art style. And so that was really inspiring to me because I'm going to be going to animation school, and I need to learn how to figure out like how to make my art style something that I can animate with, but also something that I can have fun and illustrate with as well. And I don't want to like change my art style. I think it's always going to remain the same, but I might make a new one that I sometimes draw in. And so that was really inspiring to me. And their recent thesis animation on her YouTube channel, it was amazing. It pulled at my heartstrings. It made me want to animate. It was just, I had to sit in silence for a second thinking about it because of how amazing it was. And so I really hope that one day I'll be able to make something like that with a group of people. And then another artist that I really love, last but not least, is Yomiya. And their art, I watch them on YouTube, and I think I follow them on Instagram. Sometimes artists get kind of lost in my Instagram feed because I follow so many people, but then only like 20 people show up on my feed, and so that's kind of really sad. But I follow Yomiya on YouTube, and they post a lot of speed paints, and their speed paints are just super inspiring because they make it look so easy to draw full-on backgrounds that coincide with their characters, and the characters like doing something in the scene, and it looks like they could move any second now, and that's just really cool to me. And all of their paintings are also different and environmental, I guess, and so it just, I just love it. It makes me really excited. And so I definitely recommend that you check out their content. I recommend that you check out all of these artists' content because it's amazing and I love it. And if you like my art, then you might like theirs because my art is inspired by theirs, and so, yeah. Of course, there's a lot more than just that goes into how I came from then to now, because like I used to be getting inspiration from a lot of things. I mean, one thing that I can think of that wasn't on my list for this video was Noragami. And Noragami was really interesting as far as the art style is not like usual manga art styles, in the fact that their art style was very sort of more realistic, I guess more like semi-realism, but it was still manga in a way, and so I really loved the way that they drew mouths and noses. There's like weird specific things about artists that really inspire me. Yeah, but Noragami's story also is amazing, and I really miss it. I want it to come back because the manga, I think whatever I was reading the manga on, it ended up like getting canceled or something on that app or whatever, and I haven't been able to find it since unless I want to buy all of the volumes, and I don't have the money for that. And I wonder if there's like some other app that I can subscribe to or whatever that has it. But last time I heard, it was kind of banned in the US, which is where I live, and I have no idea what happened. But maybe one day I'll be able to finish that story because the story was amazing, and stopped off at the worst time because it was really getting good, and it had been getting good for a long time, and I was just needing the next chapter, but I couldn't find it, so oh well. And I don't know if they're gonna make a 3rd season of the anime, but maybe one day. We can all hope and pray. But yeah, that was one of my other inspirations from back when, and there are a lot of others like that. So that's kind of, I guess that's the answer to the question of what inspires my art. But I also get a lot of inspiration from Pinterest, although I don't sometimes appreciate the fact that you can't always find out who drew the art when you find something on Pinterest, because it's kind of like something gets handed down through the grapevine 1,500 times, and then by that point, obviously, people are going to forget who actually did the art, and so you can't find the artist if you find an art piece you really like on Pinterest, but some pieces I've found the artist for. But anyways, Pinterest is really good for character boards and vibe boards, I guess, and inspiration, and for, I don't know, like making ideas, I suppose. I really should make character boards for all of my OCs so I can design them a little bit more originally, I guess. I need to work on that. So I want to put Mason and Ashlyn and all of my other OCs in something a little bit more than just like a shirt and pants, you know? I feel like I want to spruce them up a little bit more, but that'll come later. I might make a video about that. That would be kind of fun. But yeah, this video has been really, really a lot, but I hope you guys liked it. I know I rambled a lot in this video, and I hope that I didn't lose any of you guys in the process, but maybe it was interesting for some of you guys. I know I kind of answered the question, so hopefully that's making me feel a little bit better about how much I rambled in this video. But maybe the art and the things that I said here now, beside the rambling, was enough to entertain you guys and make you guys happy. So I hope that you liked it, and I will be trying to make a lot more videos before I go to school, because once I go to school, I'm not going to have nearly as much time as I do right now. And so kind of expect my uploading schedule to be kind of crazy for a little while, because I'm going to try to upload videos regularly, but I have absolutely no idea how that's going to work. And so I might go on like MIA for a little bit. But I'll keep you guys posted. And so in the meantime, I hope that you can enjoy my videos, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!